If you're keen to find out why I've reduced the amount of times I use water bottles such as this, and this over the past 12 months or so, keep watching. Over the past 12 months or so, my outdoor adventures have seen me exploring the Snowdonia National Park, which I moved to about 18 months ago. Those adventures have seen me covering much greater mileage over much steeper, hillier and more mountainous terrain, which means that amongst other things, I've been focusing on two primary things when it comes to my equipment: reducing the overall weight of what I carry and reducing the overall bulk of what I carry, meaning that I can now get away for 2 or 3 days in the hills and get everything packed into a 30-litre rucksack. But that means that I've had to rethink how I go about doing some of the fundamental skills and some of the fundamental pieces of equipment that I carry. Sometimes it's all too easy and very obvious to focus on reducing the weight of your equipment as opposed to the bulk of your equipment. And that, I think, is where lots of people, and certainly me until 12 months ago, fell into something of a trap when it comes to transporting water, because water is a fixed weight. If you carry 2 pounds of water, you're carrying 2 pounds of water. Whether you put that in one or more of these containers, whether it's in one container or multiple, it still weighs 2 pounds worth of water. It's a fixed weight per volume. All of these have something in common, these bottles here, whether it's this plastic Nalgene bottle, whether it's this plastic military issue water bottle, or whether it's this metal cig bottle. They all have one thing in common. Even though they are slightly different capacity, they've got slightly different finishing to them, they're made from different materials, the one thing they have in common is that these take up just as much bulk and space in your equipment when they are full as they do when they are empty. The bulk of that water bottle has not changed at all. It's a damn sight lighter than it was, but the overall bulk is the same. So that takes up the same amount of space and capacity within my pack, regardless of whether it's empty or full. As does this bottle, and as does this bottle. And it was a realization of that that saw me take a slightly different track with the way that I now transport water, that not only solves that problem, but also brings quite a few advantages as well. It was about 12 months or so ago that I discovered this. This is the Katadyn Be-Free 0.6 litre water filter. Actually, that's the water filter there. I'll come on to that in more detail later in the video. That's the 0.6 litre bottle that comes with it. Now, the intriguing aspect of this is dual purpose. So first of all, let me address what I've just talked about and the challenge with using the hard, rigid body bottles. As you can see, that is pretty much full to the top. It takes up a certain amount of space in my pack. As I drink from this, and I'm not going to go through the process of drinking because it takes time, but let me just take some of that out. I've taken about 1/3 to half of that. As you can see, that now takes up less space in my pack. If I empty it all out, that now takes up even less space in my pack. So unlike something like this, which is the same bulk, whether it's empty, partially empty or full, that, because of the nature of the bladder material, the water bottle material itself, that can decrease in bulk as you are drinking from it. So yes, at the start of the day, it's taking up as much space as it's going to, but as your day progresses, you can increase capacity in your pack because you are drinking more. Now admittedly, these kind of soft shell bladder materials, they're nothing new. They've been around in one guise or another for many, many years now. So that in itself wasn't a really big deal. That in itself wasn't anything new to me when I started looking on the market for alternatives to hard, rigid water bottles. It was this that really drew my attention. And here's why. Yes, we've spoken briefly about the actual bottle material itself, but the lid of this, the cap of this, is quite ingenious, because that in itself is a water filter. Now, I am not going to go into the specifics of what it doesn't and doesn't filter, to what microns. I do know that it's got a roughly a 1,000 litre life or capacity on it. It works off a membrane system. Just try and focus that in. May or may not, probably can't pick that up, but it works on a membrane system. I'm not going to quote the specifics. What I am going to do is, in the description of this video on YouTube, I'm going to place a link through to the manufacturer's site for this product so that you can see in detail what this does and doesn't do and make your own decisions. But the really ingenious part of this is, there's your water bladder there. We've talked about the benefits and advantages of having a soft bladder type. There's the cap there. You can see that filter. There you go, slightly clouded. You can see that filter in the bottle. There's your drink nozzle on the top, protected by a plastic cap. You just fill this up and drink directly from the bottle, safe in the knowledge that that filter is doing its work for you. You no longer need a concept of a dirty bottle and a clean bottle, or a dirty container and a clean container. You no longer have to wait for some form of system, be it gravity or mechanical or hand pumped, to turn your water from being potentially unsafe to safe. You can scoop water up on the go as you are moving, drink directly from that bottle, and it's that drawing of the water into your mouth that draws it through that filter and renders it safe. It was that really drew my attention. So we've got an inbuilt water filter. Brilliant, what a great idea, but it's built into a material body that, as you are drinking, is decreasing in size and bulk, and of course in weight, but that would be the same for any water bottle, that would decrease in overall weight. So for me, there's some real advantages in this system. Reduced bulk as you are moving and drinking, and it negates the need and time for a secondary type filter to render your water safe. You could drink directly from that. You could also use that to squeeze water into some form of cooking vessel if you needed safe water for cooking or making a hot drink with. Some real advantages in that, beyond just the inbuilt water filter, beyond the collapsible bladder material. Bring the two together, and that's why I've been using this for the past 12 months or so. But it's not infallible. Let me explain. Let me talk to you about two potential drawbacks to this system. The first potential drawback is that the screw of this, the thread of this, particularly in the water filter itself, is not universal. Therefore, you can't take this and just put it into any screw lid type drinks bottle and get the benefit of the inbuilt water filter. It's a very specific thread. I want to say it's 42 millimeters, but don't quote me on that. I don't think it really matters. But at the time, it really would only work with, unsurprisingly, Katadyn's own bottle. So that was a potential drawback there. The second potential drawback is when you compare the bottle material with something like this, my military issue water bottle. This has been on the go with me, let alone whoever owned it before me, for 2 or 3 decades, something like that. It has been dropped, it's been kicked, it's been stood on, it's been landed on, and it is still going strong. Compare that to this, which I dropped towards the end of last summer on a trail. Tiny little piece of slate must have pierced it and it developed a hole in it. Now I was able to repair that hole soon afterwards, initially with just some Thermarest repair material. Didn't stay on for too long. What I found was a much longer term solution was a dab of super glue smeared over the hole. That's working to this day. But the point is that because of the flexible nature of this, which is an advantage, the disadvantage is it isn't necessarily, as I've discovered, particularly that strong if you were to drop it on something or something were to land on it and pierce it. So two potential downsides to this system. One is the lack of compatibility and one is the potential robustness of it. But I think I've discovered an answer to both of those challenges. Now it's fair to say that these have been around off my radar, admittedly, for a good minimum of 4 years. And clearly in that time, some of the challenges have been overcome by other people in the market. One of the challenges, as we've discussed, is the fact that that was a proprietary sort of lid fitting, or it didn't fit with many other products. What I've discovered in the past couple of weeks is this soft bladder bottle. So all the advantages of the Katadyn itself, insofar that yes, it's a fixed capacity when it's full, but as you take water from it, it reduces in bulk quite significantly. It's worth mentioning this is a 1 litre bottle. That's a 0.6, so it's going to look larger anyway because it's more capacity, but the concept of it still squashing down as you take water from it, that's still just as valid. The other thing, the coup de grace, if you like, is the fact that that's been manufactured with a thread that will take the Katadyn filter itself. So we've got other options for different types of water bottles. The reason I went for this bottle, this upgrade, rather than just purchasing a 1 litre version, is because this is a thicker grade material. Again, I'm not going to go into the specifics of it. I can't remember what they are, but I will link to this bottle down in the description below, along with the information for the Katadyn Be-Free filter. It's a thicker type material, and the YouTube reviews that I've watched all comment on the fact that this is a much more rugged, durable, robust. Whether it would stand up to me dropping it on sharp pieces of slate, well, that's another matter altogether, but I'm happy with the fact that I get all of the benefits of the Katadyn type soft collapsible bladder. It's a bladder that collapses as I'm drinking. It's got an inbuilt filter within the top, capacity of 1,000 litres filtering, but it is a more durable material. Now, I've never used this yet. It's only arrived 2 or 3 days ago. The filter, as you know, I've been using for 12 months. The Katadyn bottle itself I've been using for 12 months, but I haven't until now actually used the two together. I've got no issues with the filter. I know that the filter is safe. Really the question is just how well fitting is that connection between the two couplings between the filter and the bottle itself. If you've not already spotted, I've come to a location where I can test that very principle out right now. So if you're enjoying this video and you're not yet a subscriber, then do please hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any more videos from me in the future. If you're already a subscriber or would like to say thank you specifically for the effort that I put into the channel, then YouTube has released a new feature called Super Thanks. Below this video player on YouTube, there is a thanks button where you can, if you want to do so, make a donation to me and the channel, and that will help to support me making future videos. Thanks, folks. Of course, we've got a bloody dog in shot, offering absolutely no value to this shot whatsoever. Possibly comical value for you watching at the other end. That's it. You stir all the silt up on the bottom. Give the filter a really good test. So that's the filter attached. Giving it a good squeeze now. I've not unlocked the cap, that's why you can't see anything coming out. It'd be a problem if you did. Yeah, I am very happy that the only water that's coming off that is the water that was on the outside of the bottle. Nothing is coming out from the rim, nothing is coming out from the seal or the filter itself. So let's do the taste test. Drop it. Tastes like filtered stream water, to be honest. Nothing leaking from that, from the thread or the seal itself. Only water coming out of that was where I wanted it to come from, through the nozzle itself. You may be able to see already, just from that deep gulp that I took, the bottle is already starting to collapse in on itself, which is perfect, right? We want it to collapse in as we're drinking. We want it to reduce the overall volume, so that as the day goes on, if the bottle isn't full, it's not taking up unnecessary space. But of course, the real advantage to this bottle, in my opinion, aside from it's got an inbuilt water filter, it can collapse in on itself as you are drinking more. The real benefit, the obvious benefit, is that I can now carry this, and wherever I come across water on my travels, whether it's something like this, a still water, a waterfall, a spring, doesn't matter, I can quickly, safely and confidently take water into the bottle, place the filter back on and drink it on the go. I can stay hydrated, I can take water on board at every opportunity that there is, and of course I should be taking water on board at every opportunity, but I'm not having to wait for a gravity fed or mechanical filter to do its work. I can scoop and go. So that's what I've been doing for the past 12 months or so, but I'm interested as always to hear what you get up to. How do you go about your water carriage, water transportation, water filtering when you're out on the hills? Do you take a similar approach to me? Do you carry an external filter? Do you pack all of your potable tap water in with you? What do you do? How do you go about solving the problems in terms of getting your water, safe water, when in the outdoors? Let me know in the comments below. If you're interested in finding out more about some of the kit and equipment I carry when I'm in the outdoors, I'm popping a playlist up on the screen now. Go and check that out. There's all sorts of insights and ideas and tips that you might find valuable in the future. Thanks for watching, folks.